Welcome back to the reading vlogs. I am tired today. It is Monday. I'm getting better at starting the vlogs on Monday, which I'm really happy about. But yeah, it's Monday. I finished my work day and I read 100 pages. This was a good choice. If you watched last week's vlog, I had like a 4-star, a 3-star, and then a DNF for the end of the week. And because I knew I wanted something really good, I went this week with King of the Murgers by David Eddings, which is the second book in the Malloreon series. And the first one got 5 stars from me in December, and yeah, it is so nice. I don't know, I feel like I'm telling the same things again and again when it comes to these books, but they feel like coming home. They are so nice to read. I just love, we are in all of these books, like there's the first series, which is the Begariat, I think. And then the second one is the Malloreon. And all of them are pretty much traveling. We're rarely at one place for a long time. There's a lot of like traveling in these books, errands. The story is like the main part of the story is because of two prophecies that have to be fulfilled, and like our main characters have to do things because of these prophecies, and they are trying to find different copies of the prophecies to see if what they're doing is right, and they have to it's pretty much the struggle between light and darkness, and they are trying to make it so that light prevails and the darkness doesn't, so that it ends in the nice ending. And that is pretty much what the first series is about, and what the second series is about as well. And it's just so nice. I love it. I love the constant traveling, but like with always a goal in mind. And we are in the second series, we are already getting to people again that we got to know in the first series, and we just had an explanation kind of for why that is, because the first series is about the first prophecy, and the second series is about the second prophecy, and the kind of gist of the story is that everything goes around in circles until the prophecies are solved, and that is why we are meeting the same characters again, and we are kind of going in a circle, but not really, because the stories are different, but they have certain elements that are the same. So it feels like coming home, because obviously it's similar to the first series, but it's also so different that it feels like a new book, even though the theme is similar and we are meeting similar people. Like, we aren't meeting as many new people as we did in the first series, and yeah, it's so nice. I'm loving it. So I read 100 pages today. That's pretty much my goal for the week, just 100 pages a day, and then Sundays I might take off from reading. We'll see, it depends on how motivated I am. But yeah, I read the first 100 pages. I think the book is like 440 pages roughly, so I should be able to finish it by Thursday. If I read 100 pages a day, or like 110 ideally each day, or I read just 140 at the end, so that I can at least get through this one and then start another book this week, which would be my goal. But yeah, I'm loving this. It reads so nicely. I really like the writing style of David Eddings. Like, it works so well for me. I love the fantasy. I told in the video I did about David Eddings, I was like, oh, it's a fantasy written with like not as many like oh, what is the name for them? Like creatures, mythical creatures. And then we met a dragon in this one, but like it's kind of like a bird-like dragon. The description was kind of cool, and the story kind of tragic, and I really liked the encounter with the dragons. So yeah, it was really nice. But yeah, it seems like there are a few more mythical creatures in there than I thought of. First, because we are now, obviously, we met a dragon. That seems to come back at some point in the story, because they didn't kill the dragon. They just hacked off the tail of the dragon, which was kind of mean, but you know, it happens in a fantasy story. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the book. I'm really looking forward to continuing that tomorrow. So I'm really happy about that. Other than that, I'm just really tired today. I think like the first work day of the week is always kind of tiring, and then I also had to film Thursday's video today, so I did that. Ideally, I would have to edit that today as well, but I think I might do that tomorrow, because I'm just not really in the mood for that. So yeah, I need to desperately do some housework, like clothes, you know, I need to get them down from the drying rack, and I need to hoover, and you know, just the typical stuff that needs to be done. So that is probably what I will do now. And then I need to start putting my top together. I have finished all of my pieces. I have the front and the back, which are already put together, and then I have my two arms. So I need to start sewing that together so I can finish that, I don't know, today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. And yeah, that is kind of all that is going on for the start of the week. I'm really looking forward to reading The King of the Murgers, which, like, it's so nice. I'm really trying to like space the books out so I won't burn through all of the books that I know I will love, which I think is a sensible thing to do. But at the same time, I'm kind of sad that that I'm not reading them one after another, because my instinct is like to get them in one after another. But I'm gonna be sensible, and we're gonna space them out one a month, just so I won't burn through all of the great books that I have. Okay, let's talk about a reading update. I read another 100 pages of King of the Murgos by David Eddings, and I'm loving it. It is great. I love the humor of the book. I think in the second one now, the humor of the people is coming out a lot more, and it is really enjoyable. Because it is quite a shrewd humor, I would say. We have one character, Silk, for example. He's an assassin and a king. And it's kind of funny because they have such great banter in their group, and Silk is like a big part of that. He's like a really likable character, even though he's like a really morally bad character technically. But like he does everything with like good intentions, and he's so funny. I really like him. I really like his humor, and these last 100 pages really brought that out, and it was a lot of fun. Our guys are still on their journey. They have visited one of the queens of the Nissen kingdom, and they went to the queen and they talked with her, and it's like a lot of like sneaking in and stuff like that, because nobody's supposed to see where they're going. And yeah, we're now at the point where they are pretty much like disguised as slave people, like slavers, and they don't have any slaves with them, obviously, but like they disguise themselves as people who want to buy slaves, because the part of the world where they need to travel to, they are really, really like pretty obvious who they are, so they had to disguise themselves, and that was the easiest disguise. And so yeah, now they are in trouble because people think they are slavers, and they aren't actually, and they have to kind of navigate that. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We also visited the dryads in the forest, and you know, we had a lot of like working through emotions, because of like the reason why our people are the way, the missing child. Like there are a lot of emotions that come with that, and our people are kind of like working through it and like getting reminded of the problem why they're on their way, and then getting delayed because of the prophecy stuff and stuff like that. Like it's all in there, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm at page 203 now, and yeah, it's so much fun. I really love these books. They read so quickly and easily. It's really great. I am gonna be sad when I have them all read, you know. I can tell you that already. I don't see them getting any worse, to be honest. And I have really fallen in love with all of these characters. I'm gonna be so sad if somebody dies. Hopefully they won't, but like probably they will. You know, you all know how fantasy is. I'm gonna be really, really sad if something bad happens. The only thing that I'm kind of interested is that we seem to be quite far actually already, but like this is only book 2 of 5, so there has to be a lot of problems and trouble, because obviously like the end conflict will be in book 5, so I'm kind of interested to see how that will work out. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. So yeah, that is what I have done today. And then what I'm currently doing, like I will edit a video now because I didn't do it yesterday. My bad. And at the same time, what I'm doing, let me see where my needle is. I am currently putting my top together, which I'm working on the arm now. I'm not quite done with it. I will show you tomorrow. Hopefully I can get it done by tomorrow afternoon. That should be possible. I'm slow with it, but it should be possible. And then I can show you how it looks finished. Like, I don't need to only put it together, I need to do something around the collar still, like a little bit of a border. And I don't know if I want to do something with the arms. I need to think about that. So I'm not quite finished. And also my yarn has twisted itself. But yeah, that is kind of where I'm at right now and what I will be continuing to do this afternoon. It is already getting dark out. That's the one thing I don't like about winter. You know, it's getting dark still so early. I'm not enjoying that particularly well. Also, I didn't sleep well because my dog was really, really restless yesterday. And he woke me up every 10-15 minutes because he sleeps on my legs with his head so that his head is elevated. He really loves that. But he was like pushing my legs out of the bed and stuff this tonight, which he normally doesn't do. So yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I'm running on caffeine and it's making me a little bit hyper. So I don't know. I'm really sorry. But yeah, that is all of the updates for today. We'll see how the book will continue. I'm thoroughly enjoying my read. And yeah, I hope your reading is going as well as mine this week. It is Wednesday afternoon, I think. Do we have? Yes, we have Wednesday today. I just finished editing tomorrow's video, which took me 2 days to edit. Not because it's particularly long or hard to edit. It's pretty much just because I like to edit when my partner is not here and there wasn't an opportunity yesterday. So I edited it today and it is now rendering, so I can upload that for tomorrow, which is nice. And then I read my 100 pages of David Eddings. And yeah, I don't have much to tell you today. The story has slowed down a little bit, which is fine. It's, you know, there are always slower and faster scenes in the book, and now we have kind of slowed a little bit down because our group got a little bit sidetracked, like not in a nice way. And we had some kind of funny revelations as to the family situations of some of our characters. We had like an unexpected brother, which I saw it coming when we got into the situation, because they are in a city they didn't want to go to the palace, because technically it's the enemy of them, but not really, because they now have a joint enemy, and so it's like a little bit of like, you know, your enemy is your friend. And the enemy of your enemy is your friend, you know, a little bit of that situation, but not that really strongly. And yeah, there were some surprising relatives there, and it was kind of funny, the whole situation. I really liked the characterization of the king we meet there, because he's like this really like timid man, and he is like, he doesn't like to be king, but he is king because otherwise he would have died. So he chose to be king because in that kingdom the rule is like the son that kills all the others gets to be king, and so obviously all others have to die. So he had to kill all of his brothers, and he wasn't really a fan, and he isn't really a fan of being the king. So he seems to be a really weak king. But then our group like comes there, and there are some secrets revealed that they didn't want to reveal technically, and they are kind of trying to help him a little bit because of the situation they're in, and they need his help a little bit. And they really start to like give him confidence that he can actually do things, and he starts to like do that a little bit, and everybody else is kind of shocked. And it's a nice situation, I think. It's also a really fitting situation, and yeah, so I really enjoyed that one. And yeah, now we're on our way again. I'm kind of excited to see where the book ends. I don't know, I think it might be like an end without like a conflict, maybe, because I can't really see much of a conflict other than that we are riding, like they are on a boat right now, and they have to kind of get through or like near a city that is kind of starting a war with somebody else starting a war with the city, and they have to go around that, and they might just end up involved in the war. I could think that might be the end of the book. So we'll see how that goes. Also, it's kind of cool. We realized that the enemy that has taken the child that our group is after is actually a woman and not a man, which is kind of nice. I think it's a good change up because the bad guy in the first book was a guy, and the dead guy of the series is probably also a guy, but our main villain right now is a woman, and I like the different implications that have, that it is a woman and that she like schemes a little bit more than a man who might go more into like direct confrontation, stuff like that. I really like it. It gives it a little bit of a different taste, and I think a lot of villains in fantasy books are men, especially in like older fantasy, and I think women need to be more villains. I think it's kind of fitting. So that is where we're at right now. I will finish that tomorrow, which I'm really excited for. I'm really loving it. I really, really like the series, and yeah, so far it is a 5-star book in my opinion, which, you know, is just my opinion. Everybody likes different things, but I'm really loving the series. And then also I just signed up for another book box, which I was on the wait list for. It is strictly, like, there's only a book in there, which is like a signed copy, a special copy, and it is a sci-fi subscription. So I now get, every quarter, I get a signed sci-fi book, which I'm really looking forward to, because I really like the only horror book subscription, which should come at the end of this month. I really liked that one, so when I saw Illumicrate came out with a only sci-fi subscription and only the book, which is a little bit cheaper than the full box, I put myself on the wait list, and I just got a spot open, so I subscribed to that, which that subscription will be like February and then every third month, which is nice. So they are staggered. Like in January, I get the horror box, and then every quarter, and the sci-fi will come in February, and then every quarter, which makes it a little bit staggered, which I like. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. The first one has something to do with AI, I think, and robots and stuff like that. So it does sound interesting. I just saw a brief description, because obviously they tell you what is in the first box, that you can decide if it is at all something you want to read. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. That will come at the end of February, which I'm really looking forward to now, which is kind of nice. But yeah, that means I will get 8 books every year. Well, this year, I will get at least 8 books that are new to my TBR. So I need to keep that in mind when I buy other books. But yeah, that is all I have for today. I will see you tomorrow with the ending of the book. And yeah, I'm really excited for that one. Okay, hopefully the washing machine isn't too loud. I had to run it, and so yeah, you will have to sadly live with that. I'm sorry. But you know, I live here, you know. But yeah, I wanted to check in with you. I finished my book. I gave it 4.5 stars, mainly because of the ending. There wasn't like a big ending for the book, which I always like a, you know, going out big for a book, but there really wasn't. It really stops on like a real cliffhanger, which I personally dislike quite a lot. So yeah, I gave it 4.5 stars. Also because pretty much everything I read today was just them being on ships mainly, and I personally find that topic to be pretty boring. I don't know why, but I don't enjoy ship journeys in books. I like if they skip the journey and just, you know, going on a ship, going off a ship, and maybe have like a few scenes in between, but I don't like drawn out ship journeys in books. That's just personal preference, and sadly we had like roughly 100 pages of ship journey. At least it felt like that. I obviously didn't count, but you know, it felt like that. So that wasn't like I wasn't the biggest fan of that, you know. But I did really like the book, and I am happy that I read it. I really enjoyed the series. I shouldn't have read the comments on Goodreads, to be honest. I don't know, some people have weird opinions, but you know, everybody is allowed their own opinion. I love the books. I don't see a lot of problems with how the books handle stuff. I think I talked about the misogyny comments in on the Goodreads reviews for one of the other books of this, and I just don't get them. I don't think there's any misogyny in here. There's just realistic, how it was back in more of a medieval setting, how women were treated, and the women in here, the important ones, get really good roles, and it's proven again and again how capable they are, and if the men do give dumb comments, they prove them wrong and stuff like that. So I don't get the comments, but yeah, I did enjoy it, and that is good. I don't know what I will read next. I would have to check tonight. I also picked up an audiobook yesterday. I have forgotten the title. I will put it up here somewhere. It is a true crime audiobook about just different cases, different true crime cases. Most of the ones that I've listened to so far I already know, and it's pretty much the author is just looking at how they started and how they turned out, and the whole nurture versus nature debate. And yeah, that is kind of the topic he's talking about, and kind of comparing life stages of the perpetrators, and it is really interesting. I know that true crime books are a problematic topic for a lot of people. I'm really sorry, I find them incredibly interesting, so I do listen to them, but I am picky with the ones I do listen to because I want them to be done respectfully, and I do feel like the book is doing that. So I am fine with it. I know that not everybody likes those books, and I totally understand. Just please understand, for me, there are interesting looks into the human psyche, and I don't know. I think it's just human nature to find those things interesting, because we are inertly trying to understand what is going on in those people's heads. And yeah, I think, it just interests me because of that. But yeah, I do think I listened to an hour and a half of that yesterday, so I will probably continue with that tonight. It is a pretty long audiobook, so I think it's 18 hours all in all, so it will take me a little bit to get through that, but it is nice to have an audiobook finally, because I got Audible for €1 a month for 3 months as a special offer. So I'm gonna take 3 months of Audible, and that means I can get 3 audiobooks for pretty cheap, which is nice for me. So that is what I also did. And then the last update we have, that is this one. I finished putting it together. It's inside out right now because I need to deal with the last ends here. I need to weave these all in, or knot them and then cut them off, which takes forever, which is why I haven't finished with that yet. But yeah, I will show you how it looks put on tomorrow. I love it. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out, so I'm really happy with that. But yeah, I'm finally nearly finished with it, which is really exciting. So yeah, that is pretty much all I'm doing. I will now do a little bit more gaming, and then tonight I will listen to the audiobook and choose a new book for tomorrow. And I have absolutely no idea what book I want to read next, so it's gonna be a little bit of a gamble standing in front of my TBR shelf. So we'll see what I will pick. Okay, it is now Friday afternoon. I finished work for the week, which is nice. Yeah, I wanted to give you an update. I started reading Clive Cussler's Sahara, and I am halfway through now. These books read quite quickly, which is, to be honest, really nice. But having read quite a few of them now, they feel so similar, every book feels the same. And I get that. I like that in things like thrillers, for example, but in these action novels, I kind of start to get bored of them because they feel so similar. With this one, obviously, it plays out a lot in the Sahara. We have a ship filled with documents in 18 something, and the ship
kind of like vanishes. Something happens to the ship. We, get the story of that. Then we switch to a woman trying to break like a record in like the 1930s or something like that. Flying over the Sahara, her plane crashes and she isn't found in a search effort. Then we get another look at something in the Sahara in like the late 1900s. I think 1980, something around there, where there are some tourists that go through the Sahara and they find like this little village and they start to drink from the well, even though like the whole village is deserted, which is really weird. And then they get attacked by like red-eyed savage people and everybody dies except for the tour guide, which he manages to escape. And yeah, that is pretty much like the preamble, and then we go to Dirk Pitt. And they find this really weird algae that is growing, and it reminds me of one other book where there was also something growing in the ocean which threatens the fish in that book. In this one, it threatens the oxygen supply of the planet, which it is different enough, but it feels so similar if you compare like the rest of the books that I don't know, I kind of feel like they are getting too similar, the books, which I get that probably it's like with reason that he does that, but I personally think that they are getting boring, so I don't know. I mean, I obviously am not buying any more of these, so I will read the rest of them that I have, which are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another 7 after this one, which I don't know. I kind of will try to like spread them throughout the year so that I didn't get too bored of them. But yeah, for my personal opinion, these are too similar. But yeah, so yeah, Dirk Pitt is then put together with scientist women, which is pretty much MO for the books. That is always what happens. And then they investigate, and at some point they investigate along a river, I think also somewhere in Africa, and they have some problems with the army of some country, which I forgot the name again, which I'm really sorry for. I have a hard time remembering names of the countries they go to if it's not a country that I hear often from like in life. So yeah, like somebody is after them, because they want like a boat for themselves, and so the boat Pitt is on, they kind of bomb it, so they destroy the boat they are on, and one of the guys that is with Dirk Pitt, they like put him on shore so that he can escape and then get, a rescue mission on the go. Which that is often something that the Numa files do. Like one always gets out, like kind of get help and stuff like that. That seems to be like also the MO of the books. And then yeah, Dirk Pitt obviously gets kidnapped and interrogated, the typical stuff that happens to him. And then yeah, I think I'm roughly there a little bit. I think they are still talking. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not impressed. It feels just too similar to the other ones. They all like get one big mess of the Numa files in my head, so it's starting to get harder and harder to distinguish the books between one another, which is a little bit annoying. I don't know. The longer I read them, the less I'm a fan of them, I think if you like read one a year or something like that, then it's like enough space between them, so they might not be as boring. But I feel like if you read them in the amount that I do, which is roughly one a month, or like I think this month this is the second one, they are just too similar. I don't know. I feel so mean saying that, but then it's my opinion, So yeah, I don't know. I will just finish this tomorrow, because these are always like a 2-day read, because they do read pretty quickly. They are action-packed. That is something I like about them. There's a lot of action in here, and this one seems to be one that is a little bit less heavy on the politics again, a little bit heavier on the action, which I personally like. But yeah, I think it's just too samey for me to really enjoy them anymore, or to like look forward to them, because I feel like I don't look forward to them because I pretty much know what will happen already, just the setting is slightly different. Which, you know, for some people it might be exactly what they want. For me, it's not. But yeah, that is pretty much what I read. I will finish that tomorrow, so we will have finished 2 books this week, which is nice. And then I can take Sunday off of reading and focus on some other hobbies, which is also nice. Also, I wanted to show you, let's see, let me put you there. And then I can show you, this is how the finished top looks. I love it. It came out exactly how I wanted it to. So I'm already planning on doing a second one with like the black and then a burnt orange that I have still. I don't know if I have enough black, so I need to look into that, and I need to finish my knitted sweater first, I think. But yeah, I'm totally looking forward to doing another one because I love this one. It came out exactly how I wanted it. It sits really, really nicely. It is really comfortable because it's cotton. So I can wear it in winter and in summer, which is something I wanted. And yeah, I'm so happy. It took me forever, but I'm really happy that it's finished. And if you wanted to see these, all of these bags are full of Lego sets I finished. So that is pretty much what I've been doing every evening this week and the last week, and what I will be doing each and every evening, pretty much probably next week. Yeah, also, before I forget it, I did continue with my audiobook, the true crime audiobook, and I listened to another 2 hours of that yesterday, and it is pretty interesting. I think up till now, I've known all of the cases, which I'm not surprised by. I've listened to a lot of true crime, to be honest. But yeah, it's really interesting because there were some new facts in there that I actually didn't know. So the author did do quite a bit of research and did find some interesting facts. And there's always the comparison to nurture versus nature. And he kind of points out that there isn't really a definitive answer, because for some serial killers it's nurture and for some it's nature. That is pretty much where we're at right now with that book. I think we just had Ted Bundy, which, you know, that is a case I've heard so much about, but he did have, I think, one new fact in there, which I can't remember now, but like there were still new facts in there, was really interesting. So yeah, I'm enjoying the audiobook. I think was a really, really good choice to get. So yeah, I'm really happy about that, and I will finish that one next week because there's no way I can listen to 5 hours of that today and tomorrow. So yeah, that is also something I will continue with tonight. And yeah, I will do some more Lego. I do have to take the Lego set apart again that I did yesterday, which is losing pieces. I built this one yesterday, which is like one of those Lego Technic, like tech Lego sets. I'm building the sets and then I'm taking them apart again to put them away, like the finished sets in one bag, and then once I'm done with everything, I will clean them, take some photos of them, and sell them. That is kind of the way I'm doing it, but yeah, that is what I will continue with tonight. And yeah, that is it for a really long update, and I will see you with a reading update tomorrow. Hopefully the books gets a little bit more different than the other ones, but I'm not thinking that it will. Okay, it is now Saturday afternoon. I thought I'd end the vlog and give you a quick update. I finished Sahara. I have to give it to the book. There weren't 2 kidnappings in here, but Dirk Pitt did get caught again once they fled the previous situation, and then they were transported to like a mine where they were supposed to work, and they found like other missing people, and you know, they escaped obviously. And everything goes from there. There's a lot of fighting in the end, there's a lot of action in the end, so it does get a little bit more interesting towards the end. I felt like it was like pretty much a slower start. We also do get the conclusion to the plane flyer that crashed her plane. They used that to fabricate like a sand skiff, I think is the name, like to be able to go over the sand to find a ship that was lost there as well, which was the first like really, really old times we heard from at the beginning of the book.
And so it all comes together in the end. There are some, like, a good amount of fighting, like a lot more fighting I feel like than we got in some of the other Dirk Pitt novels. There was like a lot of a bigger fight. Normally it's just, you know, the guys against the bad ones, but this time around we had like two sides coming together. So yeah, I don't know what I want to give the book. Also, I haven't put the my bookmark out yesterday. When I continue reading, I often don't take the bookmark out if I read it in one setting, which is why I have the bookmark still in there, which I can't lose it if it's still in the book. That is something I've learned about myself. I tend to lose bookmarks, so I'm trying to keep them in the books. But yeah, I think I might give it a 3-star as well. I think the ending did make the book a lot better. I think it's nice that we got a lot of conclusions that were also kind of nicer conclusions. A lot of the time, the conclusions of the past things that you mentioned in the Numa Files books, I feel like aren't that impressive, but in this one I felt like they were actually quite nice. So yeah, I think it is good. Is this the best one I've read by him? No. Is this the worst one I've read by him? No. So I think the 3 stars were like dead in the middle, which I think is quite nice. Then I also continued to listening to the audiobook yesterday, and it is definitely more of like the focus definitely on a different point than some of the other true crime books I've read, because he did talk about the Yorkshire Ripper case, and he really glossed over a lot of stuff, I have to say, because it's just not the focus of the book. But I feel like, in my personal opinion, it is really important for the case. But if you've not watched, I think there's like one really good documentary on Netflix about the Yorkshire Ripper, and there are a few books out there. But if you haven't gotten to that case yet, if you like true crime, there was a lot of bad work on the police side, because they thought that he only killed prostitutes, and they didn't really pay that much attention because, you know, the women weren't worth it. And in a time where, like, you know, there was like a single mother who got killed, and they thought she was a prostitute even though she wasn't. There's a lot of problems like that in that case, because obviously it's you know, it is an older case. And so the guy who is the author of the book that I'm currently reading, he kind of doesn't mention that, which is a little bit annoying, because I personally feel like it's really important for the case. But obviously his focus is more on the upbringing of the perpetrator and not about the work that got the perpetrator caught in like the details. It's more of like a rough overview, like what got him caught and maybe the reasons for that. But yeah, the focus is definitely more on like upbringing. What can we learn about their upbringing? You know, what are things that might like just like hints that maybe if they were growing up in a better environment, maybe they could have been caught and stuff like that, you know. So I don't hold it against the book necessarily, but I do think it's important to know that it's not a book that goes into great detail when it comes to the investigative side of things. The focus is definitely on another point, which he does sell. You know, the book is sold with that in mind, you know. It is told on the like blurb and everything, so it's totally fine. It just, I don't know, I'm a stickler for like the details, and it kind of annoyed me, even though, you know, it's not what the book is about. But yeah, that is what I listened to as well. I listened to, I think, like 3 hours of that yesterday, so I'm still not through. I think I have another 4 hours left on the audiobook. But yeah, I did make some progress with that. So yeah, I don't know what I will start the next week with. I do know that I will take tomorrow off of reading, focus on some of my other hobbies. I do need to continue knitting my sweater. And yeah, that is kind of all for this week. I had a really nice reading week, I have to say. It was a really good reading week. And I think the pacing that I'm doing is really good at the moment. And I think, you know, the reading is going in like a form that I wanted to go, which is really nice. So yeah, hopefully your reading week went as well. if you did, if you read any interesting books, please leave them down below. I have like a list now on my phone with like books I need to consider buying. So if you have any, recommendations that you read recently, please leave them in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope you had a nice week, and thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.